Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is No Chefs here. You know what I haven't done in a while is cook seafood or fish. And I like it, I love fish. So today I'm going to fix it. On my mind is this Sichuan style hot and sour tomato fish soup. Super excited for this. I am just using cod, but you can use other white fish of your choice. I think white fish texture works best for this style of dish. Let's get started. It's regular cod I bought in regular grocery store. It was frozen and I defrosted it overnight in the refrigerator. This is just 320 grams. Got 2 tomatoes, and that's the size compared to my hand. 5 cloves garlic, about 17 grams of ginger. Don't worry about the measurements, they are all in the description box below. Right now, just enjoy. I have a handful of dried chili peppers, and some that were longer I just cut diagonally. Keep the seeds as well. About a tablespoon of Sichuan peppercorns, 2 green onions, cornstarch, sesame oil, Shao Xing cooking wine, 2.5 cups unsalted chicken broth. Now you may be wondering, what is this? How do you use chicken broth in this fish dish? Trust me, it is perfectly okay. But if you're not convinced, that's fine. You can use vegetable stock, you can use seafood stock. One recommendation is that keep it unsalted or as little sodium as possible so that you can season it yourself. Speaking of seasoning, we will need sea salt. I have coarse sea salt. Tomatoes are naturally going to produce some sour taste, but black Chinese vinegar is the king. I'm going to use it for the sour. Besides the chilies, the spice will also come from white pepper. Because this fish doesn't have skin on, to help it stay together in one piece as much as possible, I'm going to cut kind of a larger pieces. Like this. Gotta wash the knife and the board. Be right back. Now I took about a half of the ginger and just give it some cut. I just want to make sure it distributes throughout the fish better. And so we're ready to marinate the fish. The ginger goes in, a shake or two of salt. If you add too much salt, there will be too much water produced, okay? So just a couple shakes. White pepper, Shao Xing cooking wine. 1 cap is 3/4 of a tablespoon. Cornstarch. And mix. So you can see I have some liquid left because this fish was frozen, as I mentioned, but it's totally okay. You can just ignore this and add only fish when cooking. It feels rather cold still, so it's perfectly fine to set aside. Now we'll get everything else ready. Smashing the garlic not only makes it easier to peel, but it also releases the juice. Remove these hard pieces at the end and mince this garlic medium fine. Leaving it like this will prevent it from burning and give some texture to your soup. Green onions. I am just removing this outer layer. Seems to be dry and not appetizing. I'm just using the white parts, just a little bit of green, why not? But most of the green is out. Wait a minute. It is a fish tomato soup, right? So it should be equally important. Co-star of the show. What you can do is you can boil these for 30 seconds in a hot water and then skin them. I'm not going to do this because I like the tomato skin. I don't mind. As well as there's a lot of vitamins in the skin. And once again, another component of the soup texture. Simply cut in the middle. And then get rid of this hard middle part, just a V-shaped cut. Oh man, I love tomatoes so much. This actually just fresh tomato smell to me is everything. Oh yeah, see how juicy these tomatoes are. I forgot to mention, please don't buy Roma tomatoes, because those are just too dry. You want these beautiful, juicy tomatoes. I will have a separate bowl for these tomatoes, because as they sit, the juice will collect and we'll want that. Okay, you want all of this juice from the board. Make sure you don't lose any of this. So believe it or not, this is all of the preparation. Now we can start cooking. On a high heat, warm up a tablespoon and a half of no flavor oil. Oh, just one thing about tomatoes. You probably wonder if you could use a canned tomatoes. Sure, but it's not going to be nearly as good as these fresh, beautiful, juicy tomatoes. Oil is nice and hot. Onion, garlic, ginger. Just really quickly, okay? Make sure nothing burns. Tomatoes. Look how much juice there is. So now, just be patient and cook these tomatoes for them to release all the juice that they can. And actually they will start breaking down, yet creating another beautiful layer of texture in this dish. A little bit of salt to help release the juice. Heat down to medium. I don't want to evaporate too much juice, I want to create some. So, when most of the tomatoes are pretty much broken down, I'm going in with the chicken stock. Bring this to a boil. Cover. Simmer. Alright, 5 minutes in. Beautiful. Now the fish goes right in. Spread the fish around so it doesn't, stick to each other. Bump up the heat a little bit. I'm gonna cover this and cook until the fish is done. Meanwhile, over here I have a pot. Hope you can still see. Sesame oil, tablespoon. High heat, and when the oil is just about to smoke, I combine pepper and Sichuan peppercorns. You don't want to overheat the sesame oil, however. This is just enough, but if you overheat sesame oil, it will taste terrible. Let's check the fish. Yep, the fish is done. Turn off the heat. It is time to flavor it. First, you give this a taste. When you season the soup, I recommend you start one flavor at a time. So salt, going with like a quarter of a tablespoon, and give it a taste. Great. To me, that's perfect. When you go one flavor at a time, you can kind of just like scratch it off your list, salty enough, move on to the next one. I want to add about a half tablespoon Shao Xing cooking wine, because to me it rounds off the flavors very well. Now for the spicy. White pepper, and taste again. I like it. Now for the sour. Black Chinese vinegar, half tablespoon. And guess what? Wow, excellent. For the garnish, I have some cilantro, and this can get very controversial, but I really like cilantro. If you don't like it, you can just leave it out. Well, I'm super excited to try it. Although I tried it already during seasoning, but this chili oil has changed the game. This balance of spicy and sour is perfect for me. Plus, with this chili oil, you get obviously chili flavor, but because it's a sesame oil, it's a next dimension. And Sichuan peppers, of course, tingly, numbing sensation in your mouth, perfect. So now you dig through there and combine a perfect bite. Fish, soup, cilantro, and tomatoes. Sichuan peppercorn. Honestly, if this doesn't lift your spirit on a cool fall evening, I'm not sure there's a hope for you. Well, in conclusion, delicious food is very simple. When you season something like this, try one flavor at a time, then taste it, and once you're satisfied, cross it off your list, move on to the next one. In the end, this simple dish is delicious and highly satisfying. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you know, I wish you nothing but the best.